First thing when we're graphing inequalities is we need to know what our symbols mean so that this one is a less than. And then we combine the less than and equal to, and that's just including that one more point. And then greater than, and greater than, or equal to. And so when we're graphing these, the sign is really going to tell me what I have for points. So if I go back up to that top part, if I'm going to put a dot on the graph, this is going to be an open circle because it doesn't include that particular point where I'm putting this. And then this one here is going to be a closed circle because it includes that dot. And that's going to be true for here. We'd have an open circle on this one and a closed circle on this one. Whenever it has an equal to bar, it's a closed circle. So when I'm looking at number 1, when I have 6, and I usually will put it in the middle, I have a closed circle. I'm going to number my number line, but I don't want to have to put in every single number. So starting at 6, I just would count up to a higher number, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then starting back at 6, I'm going to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, that's going to change when we do negative numbers. I'm going to pick one of my endpoints, so I'm going to pick either the 1 or the 11. I just can't pick this 0.6. I could pick any of the points in between to test. And I'm going to see, is 1 less than or equal to 6? I'm not going to worry about the equal to bar because I've already taken care of that in my circle. And this is true, which tells me all these points are true. All these points are going to be less than 6. If I had picked 11, is 11 less than 6? That's false, so that's why I'm not shading in on that end. So let's look at the next one. I'm going to put 0, and then I look at my sign, and my sign is going to tell me if it's an open circle or a closed circle. So hopefully you've looked at it and said, yep, that's going to be an open circle. And then I'm going to put in my endpoints. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then going the other way, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And I'm going to pick those endpoints. I'm just going to pick one and say, okay, -5 greater than 0. That is false. That tells me that none of these points over here are going to work, and my shading needs to be on this side. Just based off of that one test, because now if I put in a 1, 1 is greater than 0, 2 is greater than 0, 3 is greater to 0, it would count all those decimals in between. So we just use the endpoint to do a quick test. This next one, we're actually just going to have to figure out kind of what we're looking at for our signs. So I'm going to put a 1 in there. And then, sorry, I always want to start with an X. It's going to be X something 1. And then what I'm going to do is pick a number, and let's pick one where it's shaded, -7 and a 1. And I need to think about what do I need to draw in there to make that statement true? A less than or greater than. And in this case, -7 is less than, and that's what makes this true. That circle here is not shaded in, so I don't put my equal to bar, and that means that this is X is less than 1. I wrote it twice on there, I guess, for you, so just ignore it. And that number 4, if it looks different, it's because I remembered to actually change it this year. Let's do another one like that. So let's look at number 6. The rest of them you'll be able to check in the answer keys. So I know that I have an X and a 2. So let's just put in my 2, and then I'm going to put in my 7, because my 7 is just this end piece here. It's just an easier number for me to grab. And I want to figure out what sign do I have to put in there to make that true. And it's that 7 is greater than 2. And then when I look, there's a solid piece in there. So when I put my piece over here, I want that equal to bar. So you're going to try a couple more. I want to look at where we have to do a little bit of solving on these. And then again, you'll have an answer key to check. So this is just like we're solving equations. I need to get the variable by itself. I need to get rid of a +8. So in this case, I'm doing a -8 on both sides. And then I'm going to graph G is greater than -2. So on my graph, it's an open circle at -2. And then I'm counting -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, just to put my endpoints in, going the other direction. -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. To figure that out, I'm going to pick an endpoint. 3 is greater than -2. That is true. So I shade in that direction. Looking at number 3, I want y by itself, so to get rid of a plus 1, I subtract a 1. So negative 4 is greater than y. At negative 4, it's an open circle. And I know it's an open circle because there's not an equal to bar. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9. We're just marking the endpoints. You don't have to mark it all. Going the other direction, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. Pick one of those points. So negative 4 is greater than negative 9. That is true. So it shades this way. So we're putting in that negative 9 directly where our y is. Sometimes it's confusing for people when it's on the other side of the equal sign. If you want to rewrite that, I would put my y and my negative 4 and look at my original equation. It's pointing to the y, so I need to be able to write it where it's still pointing to the y. Your job is just to go ahead and finish these and then check your answers with the classwork.